On Saturday, the group of 7 wealthy democracies joined forces to urge China to put pressure on Russia, a strategic partner, to end its conflict with Ukraine. The G7 leaders stressed in a joint statement released on Saturday that they did not wish to harm China and were aiming for constructive and stable relations with Beijing, recognizing the importance of engaging candidly with and directly expressing our concerns to China. We urge China to put pressure on Russia to end its military aggression and pull out of Ukraine immediately, completely, and without conditions, the statement said. We encourage China to support a comprehensive, just and lasting peace based on territorial integrity and the principles and purposes of the UN Charter, including in face-to-face negotiations with Ukraine. The group made an appeal for collaboration on issues like climate change, biodiversity, debts and financing needs of vulnerable countries, global health concerns, and economic stability. It argued that cooperation with China is necessary given its global role and economic size. The leaders did, however, express serious concern regarding the conditions in the East and South China Seas, where Beijing has been escalating its military presence and threatening to use force to seize control of Taiwan. They demanded a peaceful resolution to the Taiwan dispute, which has persisted since the Communists took control of the Chinese mainland in 1949. According to the statement, there is no legal basis for China's expansive maritime claims in the South China Sea, and we oppose China's militarization activities in the region. In reference to claims that Beijing is undermining the rules-based international order, the statement stated that a growing China that plays by international rules would be of global interest. The G7 came together to express concerns about China's human rights, particularly in Tibet, Hong Kong, and the remote western region of Xinjiang, where the problem of forced labor is a recurring problem. But the statement also aimed to refute claims that the G7 is trying to stop China from becoming a major global power. Our policy approaches are not intended to harm China, and we do not seek to impede China's economic development and progress, the statement read. The declaration emphasized the general agreement that efforts to diversify manufacturing supply chains and guarantee stable access to strategically important minerals and other resources are not intended to sever trade ties with the second largest economy in the world. The statement said, "We are not decoupling or turning inward. At the same time, we understand that de-risking and diversification are necessary for economic resilience. We will take action to invest in the health of our own economy, both individually and collectively. We'll cut back on unnecessary dependencies in our vital supply chains." While avoiding unduly limiting trade and investment, the G7 members pledged to take a stand against various forms of economic coercion. They said they would counter malign practices, such as illegitimate technology transfer or data disclosure. Chinese officials have criticized the U.S. and other G7 members for being hypocritical in response to various G7 statements about economic coercion and other issues. In a harsh editorial published on Friday, the state-run Xinhua news agency referred to the accusations as a witch hunt, bullying, and superpower suppression. When it comes to coercion, the coercer of the first water is the United States, it declared. Given how Washington has abused or cheated them over the years, America's G7 allies must have much to resent. The G7 consists of the European Union, the United States, the United Kingdom, Japan, France, Germany, Canada, and Italy. This year's annual summit of world leaders will be held in Japan. On the second day of a 3-day summit, the statement was made public. Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, arrived in Hiroshima on Saturday to take part in meetings scheduled for Sunday.